All right, let's dive into a real legend. We're talking about a number that's become almost mythical, a kind of rock star in the world of math geeks and mystics. That number is 142857. You've probably heard the whispers that this number is some kind of secret key, unlocking everything from ancient pyramids to the fundamental laws of physics. But how much of that is real and how much is just a really, really cool coincidence? Well, today we're going to peel back the layers and find out. So, what exactly are we looking at here? On the surface, it's pretty simple. This six-digit number is just what you get when you divide 1 by 7. No big deal, right? But hidden inside that simple fraction are these mathematical quirks that are so bizarre, so captivating, that you can't blame people for thinking they've stumbled upon a message from, well, somewhere else. Okay, so first things first, we have to understand why this number got so famous in the first place. Let's dig into the math and see what makes it tick. So the magic behind this number comes down to one thing. It's what's called a cyclic number. Now check this out. You multiply it by 2, you get 285714. Multiply it by 3, you get 428571. See what's happening? It's the exact same digits, just taking turns in the first position, endlessly cycling around. And then for the grand finale, if you multiply it by 7, the number that created it, you get a perfect string of 9s. I mean, come on, that's a pattern so clean it almost feels designed, doesn't it? So this brings us to our first big test. Is this incredible pattern a fundamental truth of the universe, or is it just a weird quirk of the way we count? Let's find out. And right away, we hit our first snag for the universal code theory. Because while 142857 is definitely the most famous cyclic number, it's not the only one. It's just the shortest one you can get from a prime number. If you divide 1 by 17, for instance, you get a 16-digit number that does the exact same trick. So our number is special for sure, but it's not unique. And here, my friends, is the final nail in the coffin for the mathematical mystery. Another so-called magical property is that if you add up the digits, you get a multiple of 9. But, and this is a huge but, this only works because we count in base 10. This right here reveals the truth. If we were a civilization of computers that counted in binary, 1/7 would just be 0.001 repeating. All that beautiful cycling, all that magic, poof, gone. The pattern isn't a cosmic law, it's an artifact of how we decided to count. Okay, so it's not a universal mathematical truth. Fine. But what about all those other claims? Let's switch gears and investigate this idea that the code is literally built into the Great Pyramid of Giza, or even hidden in the constants that run our universe. Let's start with the hard data. The code believers claim the pyramid's dimensions are based on a multiple of 142857. To check that, we need the best measurements we can get, and thanks to recent LiDAR scans, we have them. The precise ratio of the pyramid's perimeter to its height is 6.2837. And this chart just lays it all out crystal clear. Look at how close the pyramid's actual ratio is to the value of 2 times pi. It's an almost perfect match. The so-called code ratio, not even close. So what does this tell us? It means the ancient Egyptians were brilliant engineers who almost certainly used the amazing fraction 22/7 as a way to approximate pi. That explains the dimensions perfectly. The number 142857 is just a ghost in the machine, a shadow of that approximation. And what about physics? Well, researchers have looked. They have crunched the numbers, scaled it against the speed of light, the Planck length, the fine structure constant, you name it. The result? Absolutely nothing. A big zero. There is no connection, no hidden message written in the laws of nature. At this point, it really feels like the case is closed. The number is just a neat math trick, a quirk of our counting system that we've accidentally projected onto history and science. But what if we've been asking the wrong question? What if we've been looking for the secret in all the wrong places? This is where our story takes a really fascinating turn. Let's just forget about the digits, 142857 for a second, and instead, let's focus on what they represent, a repeating cycle of 6. What if the real secret of 142857 isn't about numerology, but about a blueprint for stability that we see all over the physical world?
And we're not just guessing here. We've got hard evidence from material science. Look at these results from molecular dynamic simulations. They show something pretty remarkable. Polymer chains that are built with a 6-unit repeating pattern are measurably stronger and more thermodynamically stable than similar chains with 7 or 8-unit repeats. The 6 cycle isn't just a numerical curiosity. It turns out it's a physically superior, more robust pattern. And once you start looking for this pattern of six-fold stability, you start seeing it everywhere. It's in the hexagonal lattice of graphene, one of the strongest materials we've ever discovered. It's in the geometry of honeycombs, the most efficient and stable way to tile a surface. Heck, we even see it in our own biology, where 6-unit structures in our DNA provide extra stability. This pattern is very, very real.
So, let's bring this all home. We started with this seemingly magical number, we debunked all the cosmic claims, and somehow we've ended up uncovering a fundamental principle of materials science. The real secret is finally coming into view. This beautiful quote from the source material really just says it all, doesn't it? The number itself might not be a secret code from the aliens or the ancients, but that 6-part cycle it represents, that turns out to be a recurring theme, a kind of stabilizing rhythm that nature uses to build strength and order in a messy, chaotic world. So, in the end, the true secret of 142857 isn't some cosmic message. It's actually something, in my opinion, far more elegant. It's a principle where a pattern's mathematical beauty is perfectly mirrored in its physical usefulness. It's not a symbol of a hidden code, but of a visible, tangible, structural advantage. And that leaves us with one last big question to chew on. Maybe the greatest secrets aren't hidden away in some cryptic code we need to decipher. Maybe they're hiding in plain sight, in the simple, repeating, stable, and beautiful patterns that nature uses to build the very world around us.